This movie is bad and ridiculous and cringe, according to the young people in my life. I am told that if anyone under the age of, say, 30 watches this movie, they just see it as hopelessly old-fashioned. The technology they're using is laughably out of date. They're constantly going into phone booths. The fashions and costumes that are supposed to look like the epitome of cool just look ridiculous now because it's such a distinctive 90s look. A lot of the special effects seem kind of outdated. It's just a film that hasn't held up. The one thing that has stuck around is kind of unfortunate, which is usage of the phrase "the red pill" to mean waking up to reality, a phrase that is used by some of the worst people on the internet. So this is why, even in a world in which we are sick to death of sequels and reboots, I am begging someone to update and remake The Matrix, because there was at least a time when I thought this was the most important film I'd ever seen. Not because it spawned a whole generation of overly stylish action movies with stunts that were aided by CGI in a way that looks very rubbery and corny, but because it came along at a moment when our lore and mythology badly needed to be updated, and this film basically turned it all on its head. Because the USA was founded after a revolution, in our popular culture we love stories of downtrodden, poor farmers rising up to take on some authoritarian government. When we adopt stories from other parts of the world, we will rewrite it so that it is about an underdog who stands for freedom rising up against an authoritarian government. This is how we have always seen ourselves, no matter how big and powerful America becomes. When we go watch a film like this, we always see ourselves as the simple, downtrodden, morally pure folk standing up against the wealthy, decadent, oppressive power. The Matrix came along and flipped that on its head in a way that's actually more meaningful now than it was 25 years ago when the film first came out. It says that all of those stories and all of that mythology is just part of the system of control. Because this war you dream of fighting already happened and you lost. And that radical change is not being oppressed by force, but by comfort, by drowning you in soothing sensations, by keeping you asleep. This is completely different from our traditional mythology, where the hero is always forced into action because he has literally nothing else to lose. His home is gone. When The Matrix opens, the hero is living a comfortable life. He has a nice office job. He has a nice little apartment. But he just senses that something isn't right. So when he seeks out this weird group of revolutionaries and they offer him the two pills and say, if you take this one, you're going to wake up, but you may not like what you see. That is the powerful moment that should be in our modern movies, where he realizes that radical change would mean giving up all of these comforts of life. It means leaving behind absolutely everything, including the very foundations of what you believe about the world. And they even emphasize that most people who go through this process of waking up don't survive it. And this is so much more challenging to the audience, in my view, because our traditional view of we are all Luke Skywalker, we are all the downtrodden farmers who just long for a simple life, but the evil government and the powerful, they won't let us do it. Instead of saying no, you are bathing in a warm little cocoon of shallow comforts. That if most of you were broken free of that system, you would voluntarily go back in if you had the chance. And then the sequels did something crazy, which is they came out and said, guess what? Even this chosen one revolutionary narrative is just part of the system. Your daydreams of breaking free from the system are just part of how it keeps you asleep. And all of this was before smartphones were invented, before social media was even conceived. And all of these messages were packaged in this extremely stylish action roller coaster. And if the kids today have truly become disconnected with this film, please, by all means, make it again.